So let us discuss about 21st October 2015 newspaper. Now the first article, it is related to the evaluation of the Obama as a president. You know that Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize in his first term. So many people got surprised about awarding a peace prize to President Obama. So many people said that it was a moral obligation that was created on President Obama to take the world away from the war and towards the peace. So it means the Nobel Prize was given preemptively to Obama. So did he stand to his Nobel Prize or not? If you carefully observe, the major achievements of Obama are: one is Iranian nuclear deal, and next is Myanmar. It has returned to democracy, and after that the good relations that are being maintained with Latin America now, and the reapproachment with Cuba, and after this the relationships with the China has improved, and especially Obama is able to bring China into the to agree to the climate change targets, especially to bring the China into climate change framework. Obama has did his best. These are the positive contributions of Obama in his second term. But not a complete success, we can say. It has achieved certain remarkable success, that is Affordable Care Act. Because of this Affordable Care Act, though the price or cost of healthcare delivery did not come down in the United States of America, it is able to increase insurance coverage to all the people in America. So based on this, we can say that certain historical achievements are being achieved by President Obama. But however, the issue of North Korea and between South Korea, it is still continuing. And also, the relations with Russia, especially on the matter of Syria and Ukraine, they got deteriorated. These are the failures of President Obama, we can see it as. Now coming to the resume the engagement. Now here, this is related to the Israel-Palestine conflict. If you take the Israel-Palestine, there is something called a Gaza Strip over here. This Gaza, it is ruled by Hamas. And this Gaza blockade is still continued by the Israel. On the other hand, here there is something called as West Bank. So this West Bank, surrounding this, there is a wall which was built by Israeli forces. And added to that, there are huge Israeli settlements. So these Israeli settlements are protected through barricades and checkpoints. It means the Palestinians who are living in this particular West Bank, they do not have a free movement within the West Bank due to the barricades and checkposts created by the Israel. And the next thing is even Gaza Strip. You can describe this Gaza as a one big jail. Where the blockade is continuing, it means that one side there is sea, other side it cannot go out. So there is an utter poverty which is existing in Gaza. So in this context, recently in the West Bank and Gaza, huge violence is witnessed. It shows the frustration of the people against the existing regime. So Fatah, it is ruling in West Bank, and Mahmoud Abbas, who is representing the PLO, he is fast losing his credibility among the Palestinians, so which may bring them back into the violence. So the early settlement of the Israel-Palestine issue is very much advised. Now in this context, the right to return of refugees is one of the major bottlenecks. What is this right to return of refugees mean? The people in 1948 war and 1967 war who are displaced from the so-called Palestinian land. So the Palestinians who got displaced from their own land, they shall have the right to return to their native places. It means if right to return is applied, there will be virtually no Israel as a country. Because the Palestinians, they distributed throughout the soil where the Israel as a country is existing now. And next is, the issue of Jerusalem. The West Jerusalem was under Israel control and the East Jerusalem was governed by Jordan. In 1967 war, both East and West Jerusalem, they are governed under the Israel law. Because in 1967 war, the East Jerusalem was also taken up by the Israel. So I added to that the Golan Heights of Syria, which were occupied in 1967 war, they are still part of the conflict. So in this context, Muhammad Abbas, he tried to get a recognition of his state through his political efforts at the United Nations, which did not succeed. So because of serious setbacks, the Palestinians are resorting to violence. So it is described it as third intifada. So already two intifadas are over, where a kind of a revolutionary attitude and clashes have been turned up between Israelis and Palestinians. Now the third intifada is on the way, or what is being something which is getting discussed. This is a beautiful article. Now you know that, do we need to punish the children as adults for the sexual crimes which they commit? Now there is a frenzy across the politicians to prove them as tough, that the children have to be punished as adults for heinous crimes. Here, there is a very little regard for the child sexuality, or else I will say it as teenage sexuality. Now, for example, a minor had a sex with another minor. Let's take a 15 years boy had a sex with 17 years girl, who also comes legally under the definition of minor. Then though it is a consensual sex, this 15 years boy can be arrested and kept in jail and punished, because this literally comes under the definition of a rape. So it means consensual sex between the minor children, it is a punishable offense according to the existing law. And second thing is, the parents try to criminalize the couple who got engaged and married, eloped from the home. Now in this context, the tact of the parents is very simple. They represent the age of the girl child as very less, so that she will be represented as a minor. And the person who had the sex with her, he will be, committing obviously a rape under the Indian laws. And he can be harshly punished for that. So, this is what is called a parental criminalization of the lovers who eloped. That's what is another situation not covered. Now in this context, who are the people who are committing the rape the most? It is people who are known and lives in the neighborhood. So in this context, what is the most, the best thing that can help? That is, we can improve the street lighting, childhood care, and we can provide for better community centers. So these things can provide for better supervision and care to the children and decrease the offenses against the minorities. So what the author argues is this: the harsh punishments are not a solution. In less than 2% of the crimes committed are by the juveniles. In this context, the solution is not giving a harsh punishment. The solution is improving the civic life in the urban areas and also understanding the teenage sexuality properly, so that they will not be punished unnecessarily. And next is, the geopolitical situation is changing in Afghanistan, then India has to relook its strategy. So there are geopolitical changes which are coming up in Afghanistan. Now if you see, Iran or Russia, they are getting certain new irritants from the Afghanistan because of the recent occupation of the Kunduz by the Taliban. You know that Iran is very much worried about illicit drug traffic and also growth of Islamic State. And the third thing is, any failure of the Afghanistan, it creates a huge refugee crisis for Iran. Now why the Russia is worried about? Again, it is also growth of Islamic State and illicit drugs is a challenge for the Russia too. Added to that, recently when Kunduz was occupied, they are not occupied just by the Afghan Taliban. They are also consists of the members from Tajikistan community, Uzbekistan community, that is many of the Central Asian countries. So in this context, what the Russia was thinking is, it wants to deploy its forces across the border, across the Tajikistan border. It means that the Pakistan, whatever the new relations which are coming with Russia, they may not stand long once Russia starts acting against the Talibs in its national interest. Now, what are the organizational challenges the Taliban are facing? The southern Afghanistan, with capital at Kandahar, it was the major stronghold of the Taliban. Now, many of the southern provinces are no more in the hands of the Taliban. That is majorly due to intertribal conflict. And there is also a leadership crisis after the death of Mullah Wabar in Taliban. And the new leader who has took the reins, Mullah Akhtar Mansour, he has no acceptability across all the Taliban cadres. So in this context, there is change in geopolitics and also change in the organizational functioning of Taliban. And added to that, the failure of the peace talks initiated by Pakistan between Afghan government and Taliban did not bring in any change, and Kundar's occupation has proven that. So in this context, though the little hopes exist in United States of America and Mr. Ghani over the Pakistani involvement to solve the problem of Afghan, but however soon their hopes are going to be belied. In this context, India has to reopen its world channels of friendship that are existing in Afghanistan. Especially when Taliban are active, India has given moral and material support to the Northern Alliance. So India can revive its relations with the Northern Alliance now to gain a strategic depth in Afghanistan. And the next article, it is about the elections in Canada. Now, majority of the seats are won by the Liberal Party. And Mr. Justin Trudeau, he became the Prime Minister. He is the head of the Liberal Party. So his father was also the Prime Minister of Canada. He is the first person among a political family as a lineage is able to become the Prime Minister. Now compare this situation in India. You have a grandfather, there is a huge familial lineages that run in the political parties that is different in the Canada altogether. So Mr. Justin says, having a political legacy is both a danger and also a benefit to him. The benefit is he gets instantaneous recognition. Danger is already the expectations are set. So that's what the new Prime Minister explains to us. Now give attention to agriculture. What he talks about is bringing in zero hunger challenge in India. To get this zero hunger challenge, so you need to have collaboration between science and public policy. Now one beautiful point Swaminathan says is this: the farmer should believe that he will have an assured income from the agriculture. When he believes he will have an assured income, then he will not leave his farm. So that's creation of an assurance of generation of income is the responsibility of the public policy, and creation of the new knowledge through the scientific experiments. That's what we need to achieve according to Swaminathan. And the gap widening between rural and urban India, especially if you see the inflation levels, they are low in the urban India, but they are increasing or else stagnant in the rural India. What can be the reasons? Now if you see carefully, the connectivity challenges between the rural and urban India, especially the physical road connectivity and lack of market access to important goods and services, makes the goods very costly when they reach to the local areas. In this way, the solution can be very simple. We can develop good infrastructure. We can remove the black voting, then automatically the rural area also comes in par with the urban area. So these are the important news for the day, and thank you very much. I am watching your comments and I feel enthusiastic to do more and more work, and thank you very much. All the best. Good night.